Hey everyone, Shannon here with Amazing.com, and I'm lucky enough to have Rich Henderson on, who's one of the instructors of Amazing Selling Machine. So, Rich, now that I've kind of already said it, but what's your role with Amazing and how'd you first get started?
Yeah, so like you say, I'm involved especially with Amazing Selling Machine. I'm actually the co-creator of Amazing Selling Machine and also the chief mentor for Amazing Selling Machine and for Amazing.com. And I also provide training inside the Amazing.com membership. So a lot of things, I guess.
And how long have you been doing this with Amazing.com?
Too long. No, it's so I first started, it was before Amazing.com existed. It was the Amazing Selling Machine was the first thing we did. And that was in 2013. And I got involved just before that. I wasn't involved in the training for the first one in 2013, but Jason, because I knew Jason Katzenbach, he brought me in on the business, taught me the business so that I could help provide mentorship for the members. So yeah, it's been 5 years and a lot of fun.
So is that how you got started on Amazon with Jason in that way, or were you kind of selling on Amazon before that?
No, I basically, I was doing other things, but I was working with Jason before ASM even existed and before he got involved in Amazon. And so, like when he started getting amazing results with this program after he got together with Matt, we would have a Skype call every week, and every week he was going to me, Rich, you need to get into this Amazon business. And I kept going, no, I'm okay. I'm not particularly great with change. So I was like, no, I'm doing good. I'm fine. And then just one day on a call, he just went, stop before you go. And he shared his Amazon reports page, which showed how much money he was making. And I just went, yeah, okay, where do I go? And that was it, basically. That was how I got started with Amazing.com.
So what were you doing before that made kind of that level of success so tempting? Because it's an online business, so there's a lot of potential and it's different than kind of a brick and mortar or a 9 to 5 job.
Absolutely. I mean, like before that, I guess I was involved in online marketing since about 2006, so about 12 years now. I'm doing all different kinds of things, but just before I got into ASM, when I was working with Jason, we were working with basically affiliate marketing and also search engine optimization or SEO. And I had a business doing that. I had a business like selling other people's products, which is kind of why when Jason explained what this whole Amazon thing was, it was like a big light bulb. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, now you get to be your own boss.
Kind of, but yes, I do. It's being your own boss. There's no way, if you've never done it, there's no way of explaining what it feels like to actually be your own boss, because obviously there's a lot of upsides to it, but also there's some downsides, because ultimately you are 100% responsible for your income and your results. But the pros far outweigh the cons for sure.
So if you had to choose one of those pros that's like your favorite thing about doing this or being your own boss, what would it be?
Definitely the freedom to travel. So I've been a travel bug since I was in my teens. And it probably came from traveling a lot as a kid with my parents. But that for me, I mean, that's why I got involved in online marketing in the first place. I just wanted the freedom to be able to travel. And then, ASM came along or Amazon came along. And it just, because I was traveling, but just not all that much. And then ASM came along and boom, I had the freedom to travel, both in terms of being able to afford to travel and also being able to work like anywhere. It's literally, you see it a lot online all the time. It's like, oh, all you need is a laptop and you can work online, you can work from anywhere. But I'd done that and it wasn't quite that simple, because like the work I was doing before online involved more time. So it meant that even though you were traveling, you still spent, like you'd go to a beautiful place and you'd spend half your day or more than that working and missing out on like the actual benefit of being able to go to these amazing places. And that is the biggest thing that ASM changed for me.
I was gonna say, we're taking advantage of the online right now, but you actually just got back from Costa Rica and all these places. So how
That's
often
true.
how often do you get to like take advantage of that, would you say?
Well, I mean, like, so interestingly enough, I took a big life change about 18 months ago, and I decided I was going to put down a little bit of root, shall we say, in a city. And I actually took my first lease on an apartment in probably 10 years. And that was in Austin because I love Austin, and obviously all you guys are in Austin. Amazing is in Austin. So it made sense. But before that, I was basically never in one place more than a month. So at that time, I had the only permanent base, I guess I had was my dad's house, and that's in England. So I would go and visit my dad for 2, 3 weeks, then just take off for a month or even longer. You know, like one trip, I was away for 3 months. I did Southeast Asia. I went to Australia and met up with a bunch of ASM members in Australia, which was awesome. So I don't know, like I was always traveling. I guess maybe 4 months of the year altogether, I would have been at my dad's, but the rest of the time I was traveling. But then, 18 months ago, I did put down roots, really just to see what would happen. And I love Austin dearly, but yeah, it started wearing on me, not Austin, but like actually having that permanent base. Because literally, I tell people I've got a travel bug, and people go, oh, yeah, I like to travel too. But there's a bit of a difference. Like I can wake up in the morning and go, I'm going somewhere, and the next day I'm on a plane because I have that freedom to be able to do that. And then so I gave up the lease. I'm trying to think when it was. It was basically like 2 months ago. And I just went to Costa Rica for 5 weeks. So because I can, I guess. It sounds arrogant, I know, but that is what this business has done for me. I just, I want to go to Costa Rica. I had a friend down there who's actually one of our ASM mentors. And I just booked a flight. She helped me find an apartment. And that was it. I spent 5 weeks in Costa Rica, which was fabulous.
I was gonna say it's not arrogant because honestly, that's what we want to do, right? That's what all of us say, and it's actually like seeing people live it and do what they want. And for some people, that's not having roots, and for some people, that's having roots but flexibility to enjoy what those roots bring, like their family and things. So it's not arrogant; it's you living your life, and it.
Absolutely. And
And
it's,
it
it's different for everyone. It's, if you look at our members, like I always use Mike McLaren as an example. He got into this, and it was kind of by accident, really, but he got into this and he wanted to spend more time with his family. He had a full-time corporate job. He was working, long hours, 5 days a week. I mean, it was a great job and a well-paid job, but someone else told him where to be and when to, what to do at that time. And he wanted freedom to be with his family. There's so many. We do an interesting experiment with ASM, and it's about a month in to the course. We ask them, we ask them, why did you buy this? And that may sound like a really strange thing to say to someone who's just bought a course, but we ask them, like, why did you buy it? And like to actually like really look at why you bought it, not just I want to make loads of money. It was, but what does that mean to you? And it's amazing. We have this thread that's got like 500 posts in it. And yes, some of them are the same. Some of them want to travel. Some spend more time with their family. Some just say, I am fed up of being told what to do. I want to be my own boss. And there's so many different reasons. And it's the key word for me is, and I used it when I said why I did it, it's freedom. So for me, it's the freedom to travel. For Mike, the freedom to spend more time with his kids. For other people, the freedom not to have a boss, the freedom to work when you want to work on your terms. Um, and it's endless. Like I can't even think of more off the top of my head, but there's so many more different things. We have people, most entrepreneurs have it in their head and they don't even realize it to start with. And they actually want to help other people too. Like we've got people who've come from third world countries and are living in America or in Europe. And their goal is to make enough money for them to live themselves, but then also to plow money back into where they're from and help people, in poorer places that they came from. And it's astonishing to watch. It really is.
Yeah, I will say that's one of the coolest thing about our members. And even, the company itself, I think Matt and Jason really try to do that as well. But the members of just seeing that mentality, and it's not just, they want to bring it back to their homes and benefit people around them and things, but it's also the other entrepreneurs. Like, it's really cool. Most of our mentors have been members, and
Mhm.
they're back in there because they're like, I want other people to experience the freedom that I get to experience and all this stuff. And I mean, you were talking and you kind of inadvertently mentioned all these ASM people you've been meeting as you've traveled and stuff. And it really does, it's a community, it's a group of people that have grown together.
Yeah. And it's and it definitely comes from, way back, Matt and Jason, and then the people, all the team at Amazing are, they have the same mentality. And you look at all the mentors, they're doing it like because they love helping other people. And that for me is probably one of the most shocking things I've seen since I started with ASM and Amazing is in our community, we have people that are competing with each other, helping each other. And like I've come from an SEO background and affiliate marketing, and you would never get that in the community. They would be like, "Oh, I'm not helping you. You're like you're competing. You're going to cost me money," and it's insane. It's like you just watch it, and sometimes I'll see a post, someone saying, "Oh, I've got the exact same product," um, and you just start laughing because it's so counterintuitive
Oh yeah.
that someone would help a competitor. But because they're part of this amazing family, ASM family, it just happens. It's like I say, I'm blessed. Like I'm heavily involved in the community, obviously, as the chief mentor, but I'm blessed to be part of that group because they're just phenomenal people. And it's yes, it comes from Matt and Jason and us, but it still shocks me. Like even now, like 6 years on or whatever it is, still seeing this happening. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I think the types of entrepreneurs that want to do this business are special and they're unique and you don't find them everywhere. And
Yep,
we're lucky
totally agree.
to have a community of thousands that are all with that same mentality, which is crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you really get to feel that at, I think, like SellerCon and the events, because then you get to like hug them in person and be like, oh, you gave me that great strategy for the product that you also sell and tried. And, it's great to meet you in person. And so
Yeah,
it's,
like Celicon is almost it's almost like an extension. Like Celicon, we get amazing speakers and they teach amazing things, but it's actually getting to physically meet people that you've known for maybe 2, 3 years in the community and actually getting to meet them. And like Jason always laughs at me because whenever a Celicon event comes up, I'm kind of like this because it's people. And it's like, it's a self-centered thing because I love being there. And you come off stage or you're standing around, and someone will come up to you. And there's one specific example. I can't remember her name, which is terrible. But she was a lady in her 70s, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't know if you can see me doing that." She was like, "Yay high, like really, really small." And I felt a tap in the middle of my back when I was talking to someone, and I turned around, and obviously I had to look down, and she just threw her arms around me and said, "Thank you so much for everything you do.
mm,
I'm not making a lot of money, but now I get to spend any day I want to with my grandchildren." And that's I'm getting goosebumps right now.
me
It's
too.
that's an amazing thing, it's you see it. Sometimes we focus too much on the enormous results that some people get, and they are insane results. But then there's all those people we never hear about that are making 5 or 10 grand a month or something like that, but that is enough to change their life completely. It's enough to like fulfill their why. And that's why I love Celicon. Like, yeah, I love it because people come up to me and thank me and all that kind of stuff. But it's just getting all those people that are doing exactly the same thing that none of their friends or family understand, because that's one of the hardest things. Like if someone comes up to me and say, "What do you do?" It's almost, if you say to them, "I sell products on Amazon," they're like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
They've got no idea. And so it can be kind of a lonely business, but the fact we've got the community and everyone there, and then we have CellerCon and other events, actually getting to meet people, it's phenomenal. And I can't wait for the next one. It's a shame, like I've got to wait, I think 6 months for the next one, but CellerCon's amazing. It's, again, it's part of the whole family mentality that we've got with Amazing.com. Um, I tend to get carried away.
No, I get it. Yeah. I love the events and I love getting to meet people that, have been asking me questions and we've been talking and they're like, oh, you're Shannon. And I'm like, you're Brendan or something. And it's a great moment. So I love that too.
Definitely.
I know they need to do seller cons all the time. I'll let Marissa know. I'm sure she'll,
4 a year at least.
yeah, she's gonna get right on it. Okay, so talking about trying to define what you do and everything. Start with Amazon. Why Amazon and not other platforms like Shopify or eBay? Like, why Amazon, and why is that the best platform for you, but also maybe just in general for starting out?
I mean, the main reason is it's such a huge company. I mean, like Amazon, I don't even know the numbers. Like, we need Matt to, he's just always just goes like this and pulls like statistics out the air. But they're growing at an exponential rate. And the interesting thing is that normally big companies start to slow down, their growth slows down. But Amazon just exponentially going higher and higher and higher. And because of that, we kind of borrow or steal or whatever you want to call it, like their reputation. So especially in America, like Amazon's one of the most trusted companies there is. Everyone is happy and feels safe shopping on Amazon. So we don't need, to a certain extent, especially to start with, our own credibility, because we put a product on Amazon, even though we're what's called a third-party seller, we put our product on there. Anyone, any normal customer buying that product, they in their head they're buying from Amazon. So they're 100%. They 100% trust it.
Mm.
So because of that, it's like you're launching your own site with Shopify or something like that. There's so much hard work in driving traffic and building your reputation. And that was one of the things, with affiliate marketing. You put the offer out there on your own website, but you've got to drive all this traffic. Whereas with Amazon, it's almost, it's like a captive audience. All these people are literally sitting there, and you just like lob your product into the middle of them, and they all go crazy and buy it. And that's the beauty for me, is that the hardest part about building a business is getting customers. It's actually getting people to see your offer, whether it's a physical product or a digital product or whatever it is. Actually getting people to see your product is so hard. But with Amazon, they're all just sitting there waiting for it. And that for me is the beauty of it, is the fact that two things: you get to borrow or steal, however you want to look at it, Amazon's credibility, but you also have ready-made traffic, because Amazon do all that for you. It's not just that all their customers are sitting there waiting. They also advertise your product for you. They also bring people in for special offers, like Prime Day. I mean, Prime Day is insane. It was like 2 days ago. And even people that don't normally shop on Amazon, they know what Prime Day is. They know they're going to get offers, and they fly to Amazon. And once they've done that, they become customers. I actually don't know anyone, I'm pretty sure I don't know anyone anyway, who has not bought and even regularly buy on Amazon. So that for me is the key point with why this business works in terms of the platform we use.
Yeah, I think that's really key. I was just thinking about my own product that's on there, and how we didn't do any like promotions or anything for Prime Day because we're low on inventory. And we're like, well, we'll just write out, and we still were getting sales just because the mass amount of people, right? And it's you aren't even targeting them. You may not even be on page 1, like you could be on page 15, and you're still like, there's just millions of people. And
Yeah.
and Amazon has done that already. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too, is that like someone will have an idea of what they want. Like they're going there, and the classic example, they want a silicon spatula. So they go to Amazon, they search for silicon spatula, they find the product they want. Very, very rarely do they then add to cart and like check out. I don't think I've ever bought one product on Amazon, ever. It's you're there, and it's like, oh, I wonder about this, and you go and have a look. And obviously Amazon are not stupid. They're putting all these other products around all over the page for you so that you buy more. And so that's the other advantage. Someone might not even be looking for your product or anything related to your product and end up buying it because they're on Amazon buying something else.
So Amazon does some of the hard work for you. Does that mean that you don't have to have any experience going into it, or do you recommend people have online selling experience or anything?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that's changed. It's changed quite a lot, I guess, since the first days. So if we go back to 2013, I would guess the first time we launched ASM, the makeup was pretty much 60% were actually already online marketers, and 40% had no experience of selling online. But now, moving forward 5, 6 years or whatever it is, there's very few people. It's almost like we've got all the internet marketers. Like, so all the existing online marketers, internet marketers, are now members or are doing the Amazon business. But now, it's insane. Like, you do not need any experience. There's a classic quote, and I can't remember what it is, but about entrepreneurs, that you're born to be an entrepreneur. Like, I do not believe that whatsoever. I think you might have instincts or a certain way of thinking that lends itself to entrepreneurship. But at the end of the day, to me, entrepreneurship is like having your own business, and you need no experience whatsoever. One of the best examples I can think of, and then there's probably more going to come to mind, is a lady who was ASM 1. She'd never sold anything online. I don't even think she'd ever bought anything online. In terms of like buying a physical product, like she hadn't shopped on Amazon at that point. And she was a grandma, and she like just did an insane job. She launched her product. She was doing so well, and we actually had her on one of our first calls. And she is actually, her nickname is the ASM Grandma. And we had her on a call, like talking, and she had these huge headphones on that probably came from the 60s or something. And it took us like 20 minutes to actually help her like get the microphone set up and all that kind of stuff. And then she came on, and she just kept saying over and over again, just do it. A trademark issue with Nike there, but she kept saying, just do it, just do it. And she had absolutely zero experience. But since then, like, we've had like people from all walks of life. One of our biggest success stories, John Gill, he's an ex-policeman. You know, we've had, and I'm not saying policemen are dumb or anything. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, he had no experience of doing this. Like, all walks of life. We've got single moms on there. We've got kids, like young. There's a guy, he was 16, and to sell on Amazon, you actually have to be 18. So he had to partner with his parents. And he was 16, and he was doing insane numbers.
They have a whole mastermind. There's a mastermind of the teenagers that they create.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key for me. It's, you're not born an entrepreneur. You can learn to be an entrepreneur, and you can definitely you can create your own business from scratch. That's the whole point of ASM, is you go in, you learn how to build your own successful business from nothing. You know, that's it. So absolutely, you need zero experience. And if Mike McClary can do it, anyone can do it. I have to get that in, right?
Oh, every time, yeah. He's not here, so it's his own fault. So ASM teaches you how to do that, but ASM teaches you in a specific way, right? Like ASM focuses on private label.
Yep.
So there are other business models that you can do to sell on Amazon. Why private label, and what does that mean? Like, if no one knows what that means, how would you?
Okay, so private label basically means that you find a product that you want to sell, and essentially what you do is you look for other products that are succeeding. So instead of, I've got this awesome idea for having a combined backpack and dog bowl and silicone spatula, you know, like something you've got to invent and create yourself that you have no idea whether there's a market for it. You actually go and look for existing products. So that's the first step. So you find an existing product. You then create your own version of it. And that is essentially what private labeling is. So you're taking an existing product, you go and find your own manufacturer or supplier, you get them to create your version of that product, and you can make tweaks to it, especially improve it if you want, and then they create that for you. And that process itself, that is all private labeling is. A lot of people like get confused with it. I mean, there's other steps further down the road with ASM, but as far as private label itself is, it's just literally taking a product, branding it, making it your own, and selling it. That's in a nutshell what it is. And compared to, like you mentioned other things, like, so you can do drop shipping, even with Amazon, you can do wholesaling with Amazon. And there's issues with those things. First of all, Amazon don't like them anymore. Like, Amazon want private label sellers. You know, they've seen the difference we make. They've seen that the profit margins we create and the customer service we provide, because they're our own products. So the two biggest advantages over private labeling rather than wholesaling and drop shipping is, first of all, you're in complete control because it's your product. If you're doing those other two, you're relying on someone else giving you their product or selling you their product. And, you know, you could take off with a wholesale product, be doing amazing, and then the wholesaler could go, hang on a minute, like they're making so much money with this, why don't I do that?
Yeah.
So then they cut you off, they stop selling to you, and they sell their own product. And then they piggyback on the success you've had. The same, you know, with drop shipping. Whereas with private label, it's your product 100%. You know, you control how much inventory you have, you control the price, everything. And because of that, you know, I mean, well, not because of that, but the other thing is it's scalability. Um, this is something that like distinguishes it from virtually any other business in terms of how fast you can scale. Because like just pulling numbers out of the hat. So say you had a product and it was making $10,000 a month in revenue. Like that's great. You know, it's normally 25 to 30% profit margin. But you add another product that's like similar, not similar, but connected to it. So if you think like brand, you know, like Apple will have an iPhone, they'll have a computer, they'll have a laptop computer, all the different things they have. It's kind of like that. So if you add another product and it's, you know, you've done as good a job with that product as your second product, you're going to double your revenue and probably more because you've already got existing customers. And then you add another one and so on. And it becomes, once that first product is the hardest thing you're going to have to do. Once you've done that, the rest is so much easier. You know, you can contact your supplier and go, hey, what other products have you got? And then look at those products and look at, see if there's anything on Amazon doing well that are similar. And just boom, you've got an instant product. And that is the key difference for me, not only just with private label, but as compared to any other business. You know, if you build a restaurant, you can't scale that. You can't just, like, your restaurant could be doing great. I mean, it's tough, but it can be doing great, but you can't just go, boom, oh, we've got another, like a month later, we've got another restaurant, it's already selling. Whereas with private label, you can, and you can scale it as much as you want, as fast as you want. And that's the big difference.
So you kind of touched on it, but is that really like start to finish? What's the high level process? Obviously, there's complicated ins and outs and like key things that you're going to learn how to do and stuff in trial and error, but also through like something like ASM or whatever. But like what would be the steps just so people have an idea of kind of what it entails?
Yeah, I probably made it sound really, really easy, right? But
Yeah.
so, I mean, getting your first product up is not easy. It takes work. And that's one thing, like I've always said all along, it's like, this is not get rich quick. It's not push a button. You do have to work, but you get rewarded for that work. And that's the big difference. But so essentially what you do is, as I've described, the process from start to finish is you go and find a product that's selling well on Amazon. And we teach you exactly how to do that. We teach you, you know, we give you specific criteria on how to find products that are doing well. So you find that product, you choose the one you want to go with, because there are, it's insane how many products there are you can choose from, but you pick that product, then you contact suppliers. Now, so the easiest way to think of this, if it's something that goes in or on your body, so I don't know, like face cream or something you eat or anything like that, then we say look in America for suppliers. And it's really easy to find suppliers. Anything else, the odds are that the best deal and the best product you're going to get is going to come from China. So you contact suppliers in China. So that's the second step, contacting them. You then, you know, analyze the different suppliers you've contacted. You pick the best one, and then you go with that supplier. The next step is they manufacture it for you. So then you go to Amazon, you create a listing, which is basically the product page that everyone sees when they go shopping. So you've got an image on there, it's heights, or you've got bullet points, all that kind of thing. And again, like we show exactly how to do this. It's not that hard. So you create the listing. Then when the product's ready with Amazon, you contact, like these, I don't want to overcomplicate this, but you're going to contact a freight forwarder. And basically all that is someone who's going to take your product from China and deliver it to you in America or wherever you are. If you're outside of America, you can have it shipped directly to the freight forwarder's warehouse. And the beauty there is they'll also check it for you because it's like your first inventory. You want to check it. You want to make sure like it's like the product is as it's meant to be, that nothing's happened during the shipment and all that kind of stuff. If you live in the US, you can actually have it shipped to you. Then, so Once you've got it in America, the next step is you want to get it from wherever it is in America to Amazon. And that again is super simple. You just literally go into your Amazon dashboard, you create a shipping plan. That gives you the labels. You send the labels to your freight forwarder, or if they're, if you've got it in your own house, you just print them out. You then put the labels on the product, and UPS will actually come to your house or to the freight forwarder's warehouse, pick the product up, and take it to Amazon. And the amazing thing is that the rates you pay, because it's basically, they're called a preferred partner of Amazon's. So they do an amazing deal on shipping to Amazon. So it's ridiculously cheap. They ship your product to Amazon. Amazon get it, scan it all, put it into inventory. So then you've got your product is then live. So in other words, someone visits your listing, they can buy your product. That is basically the first steps. The rest is marketing. So you want to launch your product. There's multiple ways of doing that. We teach you how to do that. But essentially, you want to get some initial impetus. You start making sales, then you want to start running Amazon ads. And again, like I come from, the background I come from was working solely with Google AdWords and Facebook to a certain extent back then. But Amazon ads are just so simple. It's literally, you can have an Amazon ad up and running in like a minute because they basically do it all for you. So you do that, and for those of you that don't know, basically an Amazon ad is if you go to an Amazon page and you search, you'll see something that says sponsored product. And that's basically an ad. So, when you first start, you want to go up the rankings. So when people search for your product, you want to be near the top. And that's what Amazon ads does. And that is pretty much all you need to do. That's the entire process from like step one all the way through to having it. Now, there's other things you can do moving forward, like adding another product, hiring a PA, hiring a VA, well, a PA too, why not? Hiring a VA to help you with stuff. And that's the entire process. That's how you go from step one all the way through to having your own. And it's an insane thing. Like we get people who are literally laughing and crying at the same time saying, I have my own product with my own brand on sale on Amazon. And it's an insane thing. It's like, in the space of a couple of months, boom, I am actually a brand owner selling my own products. Watch out, Apple, here I come.
Yeah. So with that, you said it's not get rich quick, right? And then, but the process, is fairly quick compared to other businesses. One question people ask a lot is, how long does it like realistically take from first choosing your product to producing sales, not just getting live, but producing some sales and getting that traction and getting going?
Yeah, so I mean, it will vary depending on the product, and I'll use China as an example because that's the longer version, because it's always going to take you a little bit longer if your product comes from China. I would say, like for the most part, so from the minute you start looking for a product, not even like having chosen it, but from looking to your product to actually making your first sale, can be anything from sort of 6 weeks to 3 months, depending on your product and how. So for instance, like a silicon spatula, if you were ordering that from China, they've got millions of them in stock. So they don't have to go and produce it. All they might have to do is put your brand name on the silicon spatula. So that might take, a week, and boom, your inventory's on the way. With more complicated things, like trying to think of an example, but say like, well, people use them all over the place, and you see ads on TV, like a tactical flashlight. You're probably going to want to make a little bit of a change so you're different from everyone else. And again, this is really simple. You just talk to your supplier, and they will help you do that. But that's probably going to take maybe 3 to 4 weeks to actually manufacture. Then you've got to ship it, and then you've got to sell it. So yeah, I mean, some people take longer. Some people are super keen. I want it up now. I want it like, boom, it's got this little issue. I don't care. Put it up. I want to start making sales, and it's insane. Other people are very picky and very, methodical, and they'll take longer. But, there's nothing, I think the easiest way of saying this, there's nothing to stop you when you start this process from being live and selling within 2 months. And that's no time at all. Like, it might sound like a long time, but you show me any other business in the world where you can go from nothing to making money in 2 months. Legal business.
Yeah, I agree. I would say a huge part of that though is finding the right supplier and manufacturer. So if you had to give just one or two tips on like how are there like ways to differentiate just instinctively right now from a good supplier versus a bad supplier?
Yeah, so I'll go through the obvious ones and then I'll tell you what I always look for. Like the first thing is you get samples from these suppliers. Like they'll send you samples. So look at the quality of the sample. Make sure it's exactly what you asked for. Like if you ask for a silicon spatula and they send you a silicon spoon, then that's not such a good supplier. They're not actually listening to you. But on top of that, you want to look at speed to market. So how quickly can they get this done for you? Another thing is MOQ, which is minimum order quantity. So when you start, you negotiate with these suppliers. So you want to get a lower order. You're going to want about 500 units. So a lot of them will start off, oh no, you need to order 1,000 units from us, blah, blah, blah. And you can negotiate that, bring it down to 500. Because 500 is probably like the ideal number of a normal, like a regular price product to get it running and not to run out of inventory too quick, because that will happen. But for me, a lot of the time is if I find suppliers are pretty much equal on all those things, I look at their response times and I look at how they speak to me because, you'll find people are like basically, and if, a lot of the time it's just by email or on Skype text, you're not actually speaking to them. You don't have to speak to them. And you get a feel for it. Like you get a feel, honestly, sometimes even it's, I like this person, I can work with this person because that's what you've got to look at. You're going to be, you're not just to order one product from this person. Yes, you can order the first one, but the odds are you're going to be like getting a second product, third, fourth, who knows how many products from them. So response time is key for me. I expect to get a response within 24 hours. I don't care how busy they are. If they are good at their job and they want me as a customer, they will respond in 24 hours. And again, it's how they respond. If they're trying to be, if they try and help you. So for instance, I might ask, I'm trying to think, so a silicon spatula, can I have a wood handle? If I say that to them and their response is yes, rather than yes, you can, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. What I might suggest is using I don't know, like I don't even know what other kind of handle you could have, but like, a different kind of handle that might be a better option. And it's better because of this, it's like they're taking an interest in what you want. And that is a large part of it. So when I do this, it's like 50% is the facts. So in other words, the price, the MOQ, the delivery time, all that kind of thing. And honestly, the other 50% is like how you think you're going to be able to work with this person and how they respond to you, because it's a huge part of it. Like if you end up working with someone who's always going to go, yes, no, and that's it, you're going to have a hard time. But people who take the extra time to actually explain things and actually offer you advice, that will always sway me away from, other suppliers that don't.
Well, and that brings up a point too. A lot of people are almost their own worst enemies when it comes to getting their products going and everything within that 2 months or that time frame, and they themselves will extend it, and it can be a bad supplier or something. What would you say would be kind of the number one thing you've seen that people really just get hung up on and struggle to get past in that first product stage?
It's I mean, I can't think of one thing. I mean, one thing really. It's really, really simple. It's actually pulling the trigger and doing it, and it's a hard thing to do, but that applies to two things, and that's product selection. So actually picking the product you want to go with. So the way we teach you're going to end up with like a list of products, but you're going to have the best three. And we get people that like the best three, and they literally just sit there for days on end going, I think I want that one. And then it's, oh, but this one's got that, this one. And I get it, I really do. But it's perfectly understandable. But at the end of the day, the way we teach you, it doesn't really matter. Like whichever one of those three products you choose is going to work, and that's the hardest thing to get through to people. It's the only time I get frustrated with members, the only time. because, you know, you look at they show you their three products and you're like, oh my God, they're all amazing. And then, yeah, I know, but then I can't pick one. It's like, it doesn't matter, just pick one. And you do get frustrated, but you completely understand it. And then the same thing with suppliers. You know, they might get to a point because there's so many out there and you start narrowing it down, and you get down to two. Like the way I look at it is, if you've narrowed it down to two, again, it doesn't really matter. You know, you've put them through the ringer. They're both equally good. Just pick one. Um, it is hard. You know, it's procrastination. It's the entrepreneur's biggest enemy, and their biggest weakness is procrastination. It's and it's so understandable, but at the same time, it's like, get over it, just do it. Um, what if you ask, like, so many of these big guys, like on Shark Tank or any of these really hugely successful entrepreneurs, they will always tell you that one of the biggest aspects of being an entrepreneur, or the biggest qualities you need, is being able to take a risk. And the crazy thing is, following the system, there's not that big a risk, but just do it. As our ASM grandma said, just do it. When you've done all that work, you've done an insane amount of work to get to that point. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work, but it's not that hard. Just pick one. But that is like, for us, it's the one thing we see all the time, and it's with both of those things. It's actually pulling the trigger on their final choice of a product or their final choice of supplier. After that, there's minor bumps in the road. But at the end of the day, like, show me a business that doesn't have bumps in the road.
So all that's easy to say since you've been doing this for years now. is, is that the piece of advice you would have liked to have known when you were just starting out? Or is there one thing that, if you could go back to the very first time you launched a product on Amazon, what would be something that you wish like Jason had told you or someone else had told you?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. You just made this really hard because I can't say, like, Jason told me everything I needed to know. There was absolutely no issue. Like, going from other members' experience, I guess, it's almost going back to that exact thing. It's, if someone would have told me, like, close your eyes and stick a pin in one of them. Like, just do it. Just move forward as quickly as you can. Because it is, and it's, I'm just trying to think of other, because basically what we're talking about is, what's the advice I would want? Because in terms of it being an issue, like, you don't need advice if it's not an issue, right? So I guess those are the biggest issues I've seen in the last 5 years. So the advice I would give someone just starting this business is, go through the process and then don't wait. When you've got your three choices, don't overcomplicate it. Just pick one. And the same thing with suppliers. Yeah, I can never say this, due diligence. Do that, you know, with your suppliers, so you narrow it down. More often than not, with suppliers, the one will stand out. But if you get to a point where there's two of them, again, just take action. And there's the perfect thing. Take action. If someone like Jason would have told me, like, don't back off, keep taking action, keep moving forward, then that's the key piece of advice. Because this does work, and it's easy for me to say that because obviously I've been doing it for 5 years, but it does work. You know, you just have to look at all of the success stories we've had, and it does work if you take action. You know, we had we had this asked a different way. I was asked this question. I'm trying to think. It was maybe, I can't remember if it was an event or whatever, but it excuse me, was not, what advice would you give to members? It was more like, what do you want your members to do? What is the one thing you want? In other words, me as the creator, instructor, mentor, whatever it is, what do I want from a member? And one thing, just one thing. I should get a t-shirt printed, just one thing. And on the back, take action. Like, there's so many people, and I'm not talking about ASM members, but all the way through my online, like, career, if it's career, the people who just learn and never implement. And it's so frustrating from our point of view that we see people, like, learn and then just not take action. And that's what I want people to do. Like, me as the instructor, All I want is, because I am 100% convinced, I know that if they take action, they will succeed. So that's the one thing with me. It's procrastination again. It's like, that's all I want. I want members and people I teach. And you know what? If you don't come through us, if you're running this business, if you're getting involved in Amazon, just take action and keep moving forward. Don't overthink things. Don't stop. Just keep moving forward. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but um, that's the way I look at it. That's the advice I would give. If my brother suddenly turned around and said, "I'm sick of being a veterinary surgeon. Um, I want to do Amazon. What do I need to do?" And it's follow the course and take action. And then I would disown him, because otherwise he'd be asking me questions every day. So, but yeah, it's like, follow the system, take action, and you will succeed.
It's like the motto you write on your bathroom mirror, right? That you just see every day. Like it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Rich. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add about private labeling or anything.
Um, Not really. Then, if you're reading this or watching this, then this thing works. It's, the way people have said to me, this works because you say it does, because you do it, and because the company makes money from people taking this course and all these kind of things. But at the end of the day, the one thing I know, that if you do any research yourself, if you're thinking about doing this, is that we've been around for 6 years now, and every single year, like, members are succeeding. They're going through a course and they're succeeding. If you can find that, there is not another online marketing or online entrepreneurship course out there that has lasted 6 years, not even anything like it. A course will last, and it maybe not just thinking about it as a course, but as a business model. They come and go. It's like someone like post in a community somewhere, "Oh, look at this loophole. This is really awesome. We can do this." And then they do it. And then 6 months later, boom, it's gone. Right? The only thing that's going to happen with Amazon moving forward is it's going to go boom, 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 boom. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And because Amazon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, our opportunity, and for any private label sellers opportunity, is getting bigger. Um, it's not going anywhere. Do it. Seriously. ASM grandma, just do it.
Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.